I'm Kevin Schwaller at the Missouri State Capitol. We'll show you what Governor Nixon said in his inaugural address.
We must build the future.
But even has some Republicans saying not a bad speech.
How a Springfield City Council decision will have a big impact on local churches and the entire homeless community. What schools are doing to keep the flu numbers down.
We're kind of all in it together, from custodial to bus drivers to teachers, you name it. We're all in there trying to take good care of the kids.
You're watching Color 10 News at 10 in high definition.
A heartwarming vote tonight helps Springfield's homeless escape the cold nights. Hello again, I'm David Oliver. Ashley's off. Tonight, the City Council unanimously agreed to allow churches to double as cold weather homeless shelters. Color 10's Lindsay Klein is here to explain the conditions that must be met.
David, the resolution declares an economic and housing access calamity for the city in order to allow qualifying individuals, agencies, and churches to provide food and lodging to the homeless. It will remain in effect until the unemployment rate falls to 5% for at least 2 consecutive months or January 1st, 2014, whichever comes first.
It's been something else.
Sheila McDonald is one of the many women who recently started using the Safe to Sleep program.
Oh, this is a palace.
She goes to Pathways United Methodist Church for food and a warm, safe place to sleep each night.
I know this is safe to sleep, but I actually feel safe to sleep.
Like the many others who utilize the program, Sheila knows what it's like to sleep outside in below freezing temperatures. She recently had to sleep outside in 14-degree weather.
I am so grateful for being here. There's no way I could ever repay them for letting me be here.
Each night the women come into the church and set up cots and sleeping bags against the walls of this gym.
They have their sleeping bag, they get a couple of pillows with pillowcases on it.
The women are not only given food and shelter,
They can come in and have a hot shower.
but so much more than that.
Here, they're accepted, they're supported. This is more of a blessing than anyone could ever imagine.
The women that come here each night describe each other as family.
You think you're just giving somebody a place to sleep? You're keeping them in here, which is protecting them from out there.
The shelter sees an average of 15 to 20 women a night.
In so many ways, it's a life and death situation for people if they don't have a place to stay at night.
Some nights they see up to 35.
There's no words that can really, truly, and honestly describe what it's like to be able to come in and go to sleep at night and know you're not going to freeze to death, you're not going to get raped, you're not going to get killed or nothing.
And this shelter has not only given people like Sheila a place to call home each night, but a family along with it.
If it wasn't for this place, they'd done found me dead. I've always needed a safe place to sleep. Now I've got a safe place to sleep.
The Council of Churches is always looking for volunteers. You can find out how to get involved by visiting our website at ozarksfirst.com.
All right, Lindsay, thanks. Jamie Warner is tracking this bitter cold weather in our weather lab tonight. Another cold one out there this evening, right?
Indeed. Of course, that story illustrates how dangerously cold it has been for those that have to endure it at night when temperatures are dropping into the teens. And last night, a bitterly cold night, the coldest yet so far this winter season, and the coldest since last February. One thing to note, though, is we haven't seen any single-digit days in quite a while. In fact, you have to go all the way back to just after that blizzard in early February of 2011. That was the last time that we had a single-digit day here in Springfield, although we have gotten close. And we actually did see single digits to our north and west, 9 in Clinton, Lake Ozark. Again, a little bit of snowpack on the ground helping out with that. Most everybody else in the low to mid-teens. This afternoon, we saw temperatures warm all the way up to 29. That's well below the average high of 42 for this time of the year. Well, outside now under clear skies, it's in the upper teens in most areas, and we're going to continue to find those temperatures drop under clear skies. Tomorrow should start off sunny, but it will be cold. Factor that in. Factor some frost on the windshield as well. 12 degrees at 7 o'clock in the morning, 25 by noon. And temperatures up near freezing by mid-afternoon with a little high cloudiness beginning to move in. A warming trend on the way, though, thereafter. We'll talk more about that and take a look at your 7-day forecast coming up.
Tonight, new at 10, weather changes contributed to the deaths of 3 hikers in southeast Missouri. That's what investigators say tonight about the father and 2 sons found dead over the weekend near Black in the Mark Twain National Forest. The Reynolds County Sheriff says when the hikers began Saturday morning, it was close to 60 degrees. While they were out, the temperature dropped and heavy rain started to fall. By Sunday morning, it was in the 20s with sleet and snow. That's when searchers found the 36-year-old man from Illinois along with his boys ages 10 and 8 years old.
The father was from my understanding, was very experienced hiker, hiked all the time. The wife told me that there has been times when he's been out that he's had to hunker down overnight and then start up the next day because of certain situations.
The sheriff says hypothermia is likely the cause of all of their deaths. The family's yellow lab puppy survived and was by their side when rescuers arrived. Schools are fighting back against the flu. In Ozark, the school district offers hand washing clinics during classes, and the custodial staff is doing extra cleaning right now. Even though Ozark has only had 2 confirmed cases, the district sends home information to parents about how to detect symptoms of the flu and how to prevent it.
Encouraging parents, reminding them of the school policy, if the kids are a temp of 100 or higher, they need to stay home. They need to stay home for 24 hours until they're fever-free without medications, and just encouraging them to keep ill kids home. If in doubt, it's better to keep them home and keep an eye on them.
The Centers for Disease Control says tonight children are in that high-risk group for flu infection because of the time they spend in school or in daycare where they're in close contact with other kids or adults. An enrollment lottery is now underway for parents wanting to put their children into a new Nixa magnet school from now until January 25th. The John Thomas School of Discovery accepts requests. Families that applied last year but did not get in are on a waiting list, so they do not have to apply again. The school plans to notify parents of their status next month. Missouri Governor Jay Nixon wants cooperation from Republican lawmakers. That was part of his inaugural speech today. Color 10's Kevin Schwaller was in Jefferson City and shows how Nixon's speech was received.
Music in the streets of Jefferson City. The day began with prayer and a parade. The state's capital celebrated.
It's perfect. I wouldn't trade it for that 65-degree day we had on Friday.
Wilson Nixon.
Do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
And at noon, Governor Jay Nixon began his 2nd term.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Help me God.
So help me God.
Lieutenant Governor Peter Kinder, a Republican, also swore his oath of office, as did Democrats Treasurer Clint Zweifel, Attorney General Chris Koster, and first-term Secretary of State Jason Kander.
So help me God.
And progress is not partisan.
That theme ran through the governor's first speech of his 2nd term. He talked about the Civil War and politics after it ended.
That, my friends, that was hard politics. But from that time forward, the arc of Missouri history shows us that even the deepest divisions can be healed.
What did you think of the governor's Inauguration Day speech here?
It was wonderful. I think it was a compelling reminder to all of us how important it is that we work together and that all Missourians are part of the same team.
The positive reaction was not only from supporters.
At the beginning of the year, it's good that we can reach out, and I hope that the governor, who seems to be reaching out to us now and saying that he's going to be willing to work with us, I hope that that's the way it is throughout the rest of the year.
Do you feel the governor was reaching out to you and other members of your party today in his speech?
I think so. I at least on some issues, yes.
Even with the optimism, divides remain, especially in the decision over whether to expand Medicaid.
It's sure shaping up to be a big difference in philosophy.
The governor says Missourians will put their shared principles over small differences. Now it's time to see if he's right.
That was Kevin Schwaller reporting. By the way, more of the governor's plans will be detailed during the State of the State address coming up on January 28th. And if you'd like to watch the entire inauguration or see a photo gallery of today's events, go to our website, ozarksfirst.com. New at 10, it appears the Missouri Speaker of the House has softened his position on right-to-work legislation that deals with employees being required to join unions. Republican Tim Jones co-sponsored 2 right-to-work bills, including one by Springfield Representative Eric Burleson. Last year, Jones toured the state saying he was not going to get into a fight with the governor over this controversial issue. The switch comes after the Missouri Chamber of Commerce said it would make the anti-union legislation a priority this year. Missouri State University is helping small businesses learn accounting and marketing basics. A workshop this week focuses on practices appropriate for Springfield. The program has helped thousands of businesses, including Pasta Express, you see right here. It recently opened up on Battlefield, and the owners say the MSU classes helped them expand.
You know, they're a great resource. They offer tons of classes. They're always there to be a helpful ear, just give some advice. They helped us with getting a small business loan. We did all the legwork, but then they kind of looked at it, fine-tuned it, just to make sure it'd be something that a bank would really like.
The next workshop at MSU is Wednesday at 6 p.m. It costs $139. The registration deadline is tomorrow at noon, but if you miss it, the college offers that workshop every month. Also new at 10 tonight, gas is back below $3 in many parts of Missouri. The website MissouriGasPrices.com reports the statewide average is $2.99. That's down 2 cents from last week. The national average is $3.26 a gallon. Eating berries is good for a woman's heart, according to a new study.
Eating blueberries and strawberries more than 3 times a week reduce the risk of heart attack.
The reasons these fruits appear to work, and other foods that show promise too. And if you'd like to follow Color 10 on Facebook, here's how. Find the Facebook icon on ozarksfirst.com and just like our page. New information tonight about the murder-suicide involving Kansas City Chiefs player Jovan Belcher. An autopsy shows Belcher was legally drunk at the time he fatally shot his girlfriend and committed suicide. The Kansas City Star reports the former Chiefs linebacker's blood alcohol level was .17. That's more than twice the legal limit. Belcher's girlfriend, Cassandra Perkins, had a small amount of alcohol in her system. Police say Belcher shot Perkins 9 times at their home, then drove to the Chiefs training facility at Arrowhead Stadium, where he killed himself in the parking lot there. In Color 10 medical coverage tonight, strawberries and blueberries help fight heart disease in women. That's according to a new study tonight from Harvard. Researchers followed about 100,000 women for nearly 20 years and found those who ate several servings of blueberries and strawberries every week lowered their chances of a heart attack 32%. That's because blueberries and strawberries have high levels of a natural compound called flavonoids.
This class of foods helps to dilate the arteries and reduce inflammation in the arteries, therefore reducing heart attack rates.
And the researchers say that blueberries and strawberries were part of this study because they are the most eaten berries in the U.S., so it's possible that other foods with flavonoids could also have the same effect, like grapes, wine, and eggplant. We will check in once again on tonight's very chilly forecast with Chief Meteorologist Jamie Warner.
Yeah, down in the teens once again overnight tonight. In fact, we're already at 19 degrees in Springfield. It looks like this cold weather pattern, though, will ease a bit later on this week, but that trend will not last. More Arctic air is in the forecast. A look at that coming up.
And now weather with Color 10 News Chief Meteorologist Jamie Warner.
All right, the cold weather is back after a nice little stretch of weather there last week. Of course, we wrapped things up with highs in the upper 60s on Friday. It's gotten cold again. Never made it above freezing today in Springfield. It's now already in the teens, 19 right now. Light winds out of the north-northeast at 3 miles per hour and clear skies will allow those temperatures to drop even more. It's already 16 in Nixa, 18 in Ozark, down south in Branson. Currently 23 degrees in areas to our north where we could see lows maybe around 8 or 9 tomorrow morning. It's currently 18 in Clinton as well as Lake Ozark. Here is a look at the United States. It's quiet across much of the U.S. It oftentimes happens when you get these big blasts of cold, dry Canadian air, makes it all the way down in the Gulf of Mexico and begins to shut the Gulf off. That will happen, I think, as we progress through this week. Right now, though, we are still finding some Gulf of Mexico moisture interacting with that cold weather. Now, before we get to that, let's talk about the warmth. There is some warmth out there in the United States. It's all confined to this portion of the U.S., Florida and South Georgia, where we saw highs in the low 80s this afternoon. That will not last. That trough will gradually spread out, and eventually later on this week we'll find that trough into the southeastern U.S. as well. But right now, basically where we are finding the cold front is on the leading edge of this area of precipitation, with cold air on the backside of that, and just enough cold air so we get a little stripe of freezing rain. Had some earlier today from northern Louisiana through Arkansas, northern Mississippi, into Tennessee. That wave is shutting down, but we're going to find more disturbances moving through that southwest flow ahead of that trough, and likely at least one more wave of freezing rain across northern Louisiana, southern Arkansas, and northwest Mississippi during the day on Tuesday into Tuesday evening, and maybe one final wave possibly on Wednesday. Needless to say, if you are heading south, maybe through Arkansas and northern Louisiana or northwest Mississippi, maybe even western Tennessee, keep in mind this right now is our ice zone. This is where we could find some icy precipitation here over the next 24 hours. For us, the dry air has already established itself, and while it will be cold, it is going to be dry. We're not going to find any more wintry weather, at least in regard to snow or sleet or freezing rain. Taking you hour by hour, quiet tonight. Skies should remain clear. Tomorrow we should see a little more high cloudiness move in, especially in the afternoon. Looks like Tuesday night will clear out, and then during the day on Wednesday we'll find a sunny day. All in all, pretty quiet weather pattern the rest of this week right through this upcoming weekend. Overnight tonight clear, cold, down to 12 here in Springfield. If we hit 12, that will be the lowest that we've seen yet this winter season. And there could be a few spots to our north where there's still a little bit of snow on the ground where we could find upper single digits. Tomorrow up to freezing. Looks like we'll see areas to our south topping the freezing mark. Haven't done that in a little while. That warming trend will continue the rest of the week, but all in all, it will remain sort of a cool to cold weather pattern with this trough that is now making its way into the eastern U.S., remaining in the eastern U.S. this week, this weekend, and next week. So we're going to get shots of cold, but being on the backside of this trough, we're likely going to stay dry for at least the next 10 days. I can show you that in the 7-day forecast. Take a look. Lots of sun heading into the weekend. Temperatures warming up during the second half of this week with highs around 50 Friday and Saturday, and then a couple of waves of cold eventually leading to very cold conditions again by early next week. Looks like highs by Monday of next week only in the 20s again, with lows back in the teens. So plenty of cold around, but looks like not much in the way of precipitation around. Of course, that's good news. Folks may not want to see that icy weather on the roadways like we've seen this past weekend.
Some might say, though, if it's going to be this cold, we might as well have the snow, too, to enjoy, right?
I would say that, but
maybe.
I'm not going to get my wish. It looks like I said it's going to be dry.
It'll be dry. All right, Jamie, thanks.
Siva left along at the line, and that's a 3 for Peyton Siva.
There is a new #1 in college basketball. Dan Lucy will show us if Louisville can defend the crown, and he has your timeout responses, too, next.
Now, the Chevy Dealer Sports Report with Dan Lucy.
1 week after naming Andy Reid as the Kansas City Chiefs football coach, CEO Clark Hunt named John Dorsey as his new general manager today. Dorsey will replace Scott Pioli as the Chiefs continue to make over this organization. Dorsey was the Green Bay Packers director of football operations last season. He played for the Packers in the 80s, returned as a college scout in 1991.
I believe I do.
The 52-year-old worked with Andy Reid in Green Bay and says coming to Kansas City is a dream come true. Reid targeted Dorsey when he took over the team, but Reid won't officially be Dorsey's boss. Both will answer independently to Hunt.
Because I think when the general manager and the head coach are in sync on the same theme, when they come to work every day, they check their egos in at the closet, they roll their sleeves up, they knock away at the little things in order to achieve the big things, that works.
I know that he's had some chances to go other places. And for whatever reason, he made the decision not to, and I'm just thrilled that we were able to attract him to the Kansas City Chiefs.
Rick Pitino's Louisville Cardinals are the new #1 basketball team in the land, according to both the coaches and the writers' polls. Louisville moved up when both Duke and Michigan lost this weekend. The Cardinals defending that national ranking tonight on the road at UConn, and Louisville had a big second half to beat the Huskies 73-58. It's only the second time in school history that Louisville has been ranked #1 in the country. Here's that new top 25. Louisville on top, then comes Indiana. Duke falls from #1 all the way to 3, then Kansas and Michigan. Syracuse is #6, then comes Arizona. Gonzaga moves up 1 spot to 8. Minnesota and Florida round out the top 10. Ohio State is 11. Creighton climbed up 1 spot after beating Missouri State. Then Butler, NC State, and San Diego State. K-State checking in at 16. Mizzou falling 7 spots to #17 after their loss. Michigan State, New Mexico, Notre Dame round out that group. Oregon is 21. And then Virginia, Commonwealth, Illinois, UCLA, and Marquette. Wichita State falling out of the poll. Girls high school basketball tonight. Nixa hosting Jeff City. We pick up the action late in the game. Lady Eagles up big, and add to that lead. Kayla Copeland gets the ball to Alexis Holt on the block for a pair. 74-46 Nixa. Then the Eagles' Bailey Pratt, far side of the lane, gives it up and then gets it back. Lady Eagles up 30. Nixa would run its record to 13-3 with an 80-49 win. Gina Raper led Nixa with 5 threes tonight, 21 points. Now back to our timeout at 6 o'clock. We talked about Lance Armstrong pouring out his soul to Oprah Winfrey, the cyclist hoping for a positive public relations spin. So he went to the Queen of Redemption, Oprah. But don't buy the act, sports fans. Lance Armstrong is a cheating bully no matter how many times he tears up on Oprah's couch. And Armstrong is so arrogant he made Oprah come to him. The United States Anti-Doping Agency issued a 1,000-page report damning Armstrong. The International Cycling Union stripped him of all 7 of his Tour de France championships. I just wish Armstrong would get on his bike and pedal away and hear about him anymore. As for your opinions, Bill emails, no. In the position that he was in, he was a role model for hundreds, if not thousands of people, especially children, to not only cheat in such a huge fashion, but to lie about it. 100% unacceptable. Kurt agrees. If Lance Armstrong were really on the ball, he would have come clean years ago. That being said, it's too little, much too late, and I'm not wasting any more brain space on the cheater. Bob says well, about the most positive thing I can say about Lance is his blood. Get it? Doping is blood. How can you feel sorry for a cheater? Being a Christian, I can forgive, but forget never. Lynn, and this was a good one. I once proudly wore a Live Strong yellow bracelet, but it's in a box now and will probably never be worn again. He let down his fans, his sponsors, cancer survivors around the world when he decided to cheat and just win a bicycle race. So that's the situation there.
Good input there, Dan. Thanks. Still to come, these snakes over at Dickerson Park Zoo are similar to ones causing controversy in Florida. That state's solution to fixing its python problem.
here are tonight's winning lottery numbers.
There's a chance Missourians could join a big snake hunt in Florida. The Burmese python population down there has gotten so bad in the Everglades, the state is letting hunters track them down and kill them. 800 people from 32 states have signed up for this hunt. Experts say the pythons are an invasive species and they are decimating native wildlife there. The problem is trying to find them in the swamps.
Some of the ways that they have tried to locate the snakes, dogs has been somewhat effective. Dogs have been able to locate them. Another method that you wouldn't think would work is unmanned aerial drones with special infrared photography.
The state says the python population skyrocketed there in the Everglades because snakes escaped or former owners just dumped them there to get rid of them. Kind of scary stuff. Quick check on the cold forecast.
Yeah, tomorrow morning, count on just getting up to very cold weather, about 12 degrees. It will warm up to freezing, warming trend the rest of the week.
Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Good night.